Hello everyone, welcome back to the Nunar podcast. This is episode 2, where we will talk about a very sad topic. It's about the possible extinction of certain animals. So, I would like to introduce our special guest for the day. We have the maestro of nature games, Kiongozi the biologist. Kiongozi.
Hi everyone.
Hello, Kiongozi.
This is Kiongozi.
Hello, good to have you on the channel. I wish we had an episode that wasn't as somber to have you star on. So, let's begin. I've got some things here, a couple animals that are in danger of getting wiped out. And as an animal expert, Kiongozi, I'd like you to tell us what you think we can do to help them, or if they can't be helped at all. Is that okay?
Sure.
Right. So, first up, we have the African forest elephant. The only other elephant in Africa. That's probably not true, but anyways. Can they be saved?
It is the only other species of elephant in Africa. And it can be saved.
How?
But for that to happen, we would need to conserve their habitat, which are the rainforests of the Congo and Central Africa in general, as well as Western Africa. And to stop the poaching of their ivory and their tusks.
Ivory is a black market, so that's going to be that last part might be kind of difficult, but in the great words of Teddy Roosevelt, he maybe said this, although I doubt it, let's bust up some trusts. And by trusts, I mean the market of ivory. Now, one of our closest relatives, the Cross River gorilla. First off, where do they live?
They live in a small area of forest along the Cross River in Central Africa. And they are the smallest species of gorilla in the world.
So in
the western lowland gorilla.
So in comparison to humans, how much larger are they on average?
They're significantly larger than a human, as with all gorillas, but they pale in comparison to the sizes that their larger relatives can attain.
So, can they be saved?
Hard to say due to their limited distribution. And that is due to habitat destruction and poaching by natives of the region who hunted them for their meat and their market value. For the items that they can be made from their bodies, such as their skulls, their teeth, their fur, etc.
So, almost doomed, but with enough determination, we can help them. Now, let's go on to, personally, my favorite animal, the maire. My most favorite animal on the list, the hawksbill turtle. It's so sad, isn't it?
Well, with the hawksbill turtle, the issue is, the main issues are global warming, which raises the temperature of the ocean, the destruction of beaches, which is where they nest, and plastic in the ocean, which they can either unintentionally consume or mistake for food.
Ah, yes, I've seen that sometimes plastic bags are mistaken for jellyfish.
It's actually not the hawksbill turtle that eats jellyfish.
Oh.
But they may think it is like such as a plastic bag that is not the color, and they think that it is a bit of plant matter or a piece of coral.
All right, well, I have been embarrassed on my show. I shouldn't be laughing, but yes, so this one actually took me by surprise because I thought they were plentiful. I thought they were in bounty, in another word for plentiful. Anyway, the African wild dog. That's endangered?
Yes, they are endangered. And this is due to not only habitat destruction, but because they were mislabeled as pests and a danger to cattle and livestock of farmers, when in actuality they rarely hunted livestock. And so, in areas such as South Africa, they were hunted near the brink of extinction. And in the Cape and other areas of South Africa, they've gone completely locally extinct.
Oh. So, can we save them at this point?
It is still possible if we change the views that farmers and other agriculturalists have towards them, especially pastoralists, as they are the main threat, other than habitat destruction, to the livelihood of the wild dogs. And of course, we would need to provide them with more suitable habitat as they use specific areas to raise their puppies. And so, if these specific areas are abundant, then more puppies shall be birthed and the population shall increase.
Take notes, EPA. Okay, now here's something that I never thought could happen, and believe me when I say it, I did not think the math was mathing. How is the monarch butterfly endangered?
The monarch butterfly is endangered due to one specific thing: their migration routes. They migrate from north to south in North America, from near Canada's border to Mexico, yearly or year-round, annually, in a huge migration that spans hundreds of thousands of butterflies. But human infrastructure, such as transportation routes and transportation vehicles, such as airplanes and electricity wires, have caused their numbers to dwindle due to the mass number of casualties. Though insects are known for reproducing quickly, the rate at which these butterflies are being killed matches and may even, at one point, overtake the number of butterflies being produced.
So a decline.
And so when the population would see a drastic fall in numbers.
Now I understand the math. And finally, of course there are many others that we could talk about, but I just chose a couple. Finally, the giant panda. Now this one is probably one of the most famous or infamous cases of extinction, and it's like what's a good analogy to put it? Real Madrid in the Champions League 2022, because they barely survived. It's a race to survival, really. So, how can we save them? Can they even be saved?
The thing with giant pandas is, even if we restore their habitat, expand their distribution, the problem is there's two problems really. The pet trade and the rate at which giant pandas reproduce. One, the pet trade, because pandas are, like you said, a very famous animal. And lots of people would love to have them as pets. But at the moment, illegal to have as pets in China, in areas such as China. And this is due to how endangered they are. So if we were to introduce them to a wider area, a wider distribution in their natural habitat, then it'll be easier for poachers, baby pandas, and put them into the system of the pet trade. And so people would start the trend of adopting illegal baby pandas would spike considerably. And second, the rate at which giant pandas reproduce is so slow that zookeepers have to play videos of pandas mating in front of breeding couples of giant pandas, just in order to get them in the mood to reproduce.
Wait, how long does it take to reproduce?
That's how unmotivated they are to reproduce.
Wait, how long does it take them to reproduce? I mean, from their gestation period.
Their gestation period?
Yes.
Well, in the case of giant pandas, it can take them up to 160 days to gestate, even 180 in some cases.
So that's like 5-6 months.
Though it may seem shorter than us as humans, which take 9 months, pandas are so unmotivated to reproduce that it takes days, months, even years for keepers to finally induce copulation between between a pair of breeding giant pandas.
So basically like the US Senate.
I do not have much knowledge on politics, but I shall take your word for it.
Right. Well, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this episode of Nunar. Do you have any final words for the audience?
Do not invest in the pet trade. Exotic pet trade.
Yes, well, I thank you. Thank you for watching. And until I see you next time.